If you guys are in the market for a new family vehicle, it doesn't get much better than a three-row SUV. This vehicle has essentially replaced the minivan as the family car of choice for many Americans because minivans, well, they're just so uncool. Now, 2 years ago, Hyundai introduced their entry into the segment, the 2020 Palisade, and it's been a really hot new addition. In fact, if you're trying to get one of these, dealers simply can't keep them in stock and people are paying over sticker price. So for 2021, in order to keep the momentum going forward, Hyundai is introducing a new trim level. This is the 2021 Palisade Calligraphy, a new top-of-the-spec luxury-oriented model that basically approaches Genesis in terms of luxury and tech equipment. So if you guys are in the market for a new three-row family SUV, is the Palisade Calligraphy still one of the hottest vehicles that money can buy? Stay tuned to find out. So nearly 2 years ago, I first drove the new Palisade, and a month before that, I drove its sister car, the Telluride. And let me tell you, I was blown away by both of those vehicles, and it really comes down to your personal preference in terms of styling and features, because both of them are incredibly well-rounded in the segment. So now we've got the 2021 Palisade Calligraphy, and this now slots above the limited version. This is the new top of the spec. It's very Genesis-like in terms of luxury and technology on the inside. This particular example that I'm showing you is painted in this rather attractive shade of dark blue. Hyundai calls it Moonlight Cloud Metallic. It almost looks black from certain angles, but it really shows off the new exterior lines of the Calligraphy version very well. You can see the front end has the latest design language from Hyundai, although it's not the newest one that we first saw on the Tucson with its geometric patterns and shapes. Same thing on the Elantra. I suspect Hyundai may add that new front end on the Palisade whenever they refresh this car for either 2022 or 2023. You can see all Palisades now come standard with full LED headlights. You have the company's signature LED daytime running light here, you have an LED turn signal, and you have full LED low and high beams here. This design with the divorce element here from the headlight and the turn signal and daytime running light is definitely a unique element to it. You have this company's signature waterfall cascade style grille with the metallic silver accents, and the Calligraphy version adds this new lower front lip with this kind of texturized skid plate look to it. This vehicle is not really designed to go off-road, but it does offer 8 inches of ground clearance, but there's no actual skid plates underneath. So keep that in mind if you guys plan to actually go off-roading. Overall, I still love the look of this car, but I think I still may prefer the Telluride for its more Range Rover blocky appearance. But let me know in the comments below which styling you guys tend to prefer. Now, looking at the wheels, this is where I had an issue with the limited version last year. The limited had these multi-spoke kind of chrome plated wheels. The Calligraphy kind of has this interesting shape to the 20-inch wheel. They're wrapped in 245 with tires. I like how it's kind of like a two-tone with this painted pocket and this machine look as opposed to the chrome. It kind of has the same geometric shapes that you find on the latest design language. It works really well with the rest of the body of this car. In fact, the Palisade is still one of the bigger entries in the segment. That was the problem with the old Veracruz and the Santa Fe at 196 inches long and 114-inch long wheelbase. There are a lot of chrome silver bits along the side profile, so if you guys want to black out the chrome, you'll have to go for the Kia, because Hyundai doesn't offer any kind of black package that would black out this window trim or the roof rails. Above there, you can see there is a panoramic sunroof, which lets in a lot of light with a power sunshade, which is nice. And then from this angle here, you can see the sheer presence and size of this car. It really can, offer that three-row design that people really like, and I like the boxy shape. Now at the back here, you can see the taillights are unique on this model. The Calligraphy version has a new lighting signature where you have an LED turn signal and you have LED brake lights and taillights. This element here also actually lights up at night. It looks pretty cool. Down here is the reverse light, which is an incandescent. The tag light is also an incandescent. They're still spelling out Palisade, but the Calligraphy version has a new design for the rear third brake light, which is a full LED. It's a little bit wider in its profile. And then down here, just like in the front, you can see the rear bumper trim gets a skid plate-like look to it, where it's aluminum look, and the dual chrome exhaust tips look pretty nice. There's a subtle H-Track badge here, which the Calligraphy comes standard with all-wheel drive. Now, opening up the cargo area, you can see a power liftgate is included on this model. It's that foot-activated tailgate, and just like last year, you still have up to 18 cubic feet of space. If you fold down the second row, or the third row here, you get around 46 cubic feet. And if you fold down everything, Hyundai says you get around 86 cubic feet. So still around the top in the segment, and there's this nice little covered storage area here if you guys need to load any loose items or just smaller items that you don't want rolling around. So on the outside, the Calligraphy trim doesn't look all that different, but what about the interior? This is where the Palisade always had a one-level advantage up versus the Telluride, because Hyundai essentially gives you all of the luxury from Genesis, but without the even more expensive price tag. And you can see getting into this interior, this particular one that I'm showing you has the beige and black two-tone combination. I really love the quilted leather seats. These are heated and ventilated. They adjust in like 12 different ways, or 14 different ways actually, with the thigh extender on the driver's side. And they're one of the most comfortable seats in the segment with this beautiful contrasting piping, which just looks incredible. This looks like a luxury car when you first get in. Now, when I shut the door has a nice solid European bank-like Volk sound to it. It's just really nice. And then Hyundai has the key fob here, or this is the current Hyundai key fob. It does have remote start on the actual fob. It's a good size. It feels good in your hands. The button to fire up the engine is behind here on the place where you'd expect it to be. And you can see this all digital display is included on this calligraphy version. It's not available on the Kia equivalent of this car. So that's another reason why you'd want to choose the Palisade. It gives you that fully digital display. And you also have a 10.25 inch display here with Android Auto and CarPlay. It is not wireless CarPlay, however. Lower trims have an 8-inch display, which do include wireless, but the bigger screen here doesn't have the wireless capability. You can see this is very Mercedes-like here with the digital display, the two screens over here. Although it's not one continuous looking piece like you might find in some competitors, it's still a very nice place to spend time and to look at. Now, in terms of the materials, you can see this wood material here is definitely fake, but I love the pinstriping and I also like the lighter color. So it's a fake wood, but it looks real. It just doesn't feel real. You can see there are 2-person memory seats. This area here is padded, soft touch plastic. This actually looks almost blue to me. Same with the steering wheel, which looks really nice. Some aluminum texturized look trim here. The window controls feel extra high quality. I love this silver look to them. One thing that is missing, no power folding mirrors. I'm actually surprised that this vehicle doesn't have power folding side mirrors, which would have been nice. More padded area over here, and the 12-speaker Harman Kardon stereo also sounds good. You actually get an extra 2 speakers in this car versus the Telluride. I can't really say which one's better. They both sound pretty good, but I guess for bragging rights, the Hyundai has 2 additional speakers. Now, the steering wheel is just a manual tilt and telescoping. I also like the design of the steering wheel. It feels good in your hands. I like the 3-spoke look. It has paddle shifters on the wheel, nice high quality turn signal stalks and whatnot. If you start switching over the drive mode selector, you can see the gauges here look a little bit different. They change based on whatever drive mode you're in. This is the smart mode, which kind of adapts to whatever your driving mode you're driving the vehicle in specifically. Over here you can see it's padded here, where this is actually covered in a soft leather-like material. This is padded up here, more that fake wood trim. A lot of piano black plastic trim here, so this is probably going to collect fingerprints, but I do like how the buttons here are covered in aluminum. They're actually metal buttons. You have tri-zone climate control, which is nice. Your push-button transmission selector. If I put the vehicle in reverse, you can see there's a full top-down 360 camera, which is nice. Great quality resolution and graphics. You have heated and cooled seats, a heated steering wheel. This is your drive mode selector here. You have a lock button here for the 4-wheel drive system and a couple of shortcut buttons here for downhill assist control, auto start stop, and you can see your 360 camera. You can access that. You have a wireless phone charger here, cup holders here, and you can also close this if you guys want to cover that up. There's also a little bit more storage down here where it's nice and covered up. And then over here, if you open this up, decent sized glove compartment, 2 USB ports over there, and then another one in here. With the wireless phone charging pad. Above me, you can see there's a lot of nice suede material in the headliner. You have LED lighting in here, and the sunroof, you can see, is not one continuous piece, but there is a nice area right there, but this is just a standard size roof over the 2 front seats. And then right here, you can see glove compartment is a bin style. It's damped, but it's not lined with felt. So overall, the interior still is roomy, still is full of tech, and I think I prefer it over the Telluride because of the additional, all digital display and the power folding third row that you get in the Palisade. Now, as a family vehicle, let me show you guys really quickly what the second and third row is like for this vehicle. And the calligraphy version, you can see, comes standard with captain's chairs, which means you can seat a maximum of 7 people as opposed to 8. Now, looking at the second row here, you can see the legroom is plentiful. Hyundai says you get around 42 inches of legroom back here, which is basically the same as the front seats. They do slide forward and back to give third row seat passengers more room. You can see these thrones are covered in the same beautiful quilted leather. They're also heated and cooled. And if you want to get into the third row, just push that button right there, and it automatically pushes the seat forward and it reveals a crap ton of space to get back here. There's around 31.5 inches of legroom back in the third row. Now, this is with the second row pushed up a little bit. You can see, to give third row passengers more room. If you push it all the way back, this is where you're going to want it on those longer trips. If you planned on keeping 4 people in this car, for example. When I get in and shut the door, you can see the materials back here are also very high quality. I love these manual rear sunshades, soft touch materials back here, more aluminum trim. Back seats, you can see heated and ventilated chairs. You have your own set of rear seat climate controls, which is pretty nice. This is one of the segment exclusive features, although I believe the new Jeep Grand Cherokee now offers it, but it's going to cost you a pretty penny to go to the highest trim. There's a nice little pass-through right here, which is great. But let me push this seat forward here. Let me show you guys what the third row is like very quickly. Now, I am 5'7", and let me get back here and show you guys. This is what the second row is like all the way back. You can see this is a little bit on the tighter end for me. I would probably ask the passenger here to move their seat slightly forward on a longer trip, but on shorter trips, I could probably just deal with this. You can see there is a power recline function back here, which is nice. That's exclusive to the Palisade. Your own USB port here, cup holders and whatnot. And you can see with the sunroof here, it does let in some light. So overall, the third row is still pretty usable for adults. Just make sure they are under 6 feet tall. Now, under the hood of the 2021 Palisade, things haven't really changed. You still get one engine option. It's a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6 paired up with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, this V6 is making a healthy 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. That's around the norm for the segment if you guys want a naturally aspirated V6. There is no turbo engine available. There is no electrified option available, which I think that Hyundai should consider offering one. A plug-in hybrid would do wonders for this vehicle. It would make it even hotter if you guys are looking in this segment. Now, in terms of fuel economy, it's rated at 19 in the city, 24 on the highway, which is fine. And if you guys plan to tow, this vehicle will tow a maximum of 5,000 pounds. Remember, front-wheel drive is standard. This trim comes standard with the company's H-Track all-wheel drive system. Now, the Palisade is still on the heavier end for this segment, although not really much heavier than most of its competitors. As this one sits, it weighs in at just under 4,400 pounds. So the Hyundai Palisade and its sister vehicle, the Kia Telluride, have been out in America for nearly 2 years now. And let me tell you, when I first drove these vehicles back in 2019, I was simply blown away. I easily proclaimed them to both be the new benchmark in the family 3-row segment. These vehicles are just so hot right now. And it really shows in the sales. I mean, if you're trying to buy this or the Telluride, expect to pay at least MSRP, and some dealers are charging as much as $10,000 over MSRP just because of the way the new car market is as of this filming, which is just absolutely nuts right now. Hyundai and Kia didn't really need to make that many changes, but they did. So now we're in this new trim level for 2021. This is the Calligraphy model, which is basically inching even closer to Genesis. There are no, structural changes, there's no powertrain changes, but it didn't really need those changes because you still have that 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6, you still have an 8-speed automatic, you still have their H-Track all-wheel drive system is available, standard on the Calligraphy versions. And this car, let me tell you, is still a very fine driving automobile, but now we've got our 0 to 60 timing equipment. So I want to try out what this vehicle is like, see what we can do 0 to 60 wise in this thing. So I actually need to redo that run because I forgot to turn off the bloody traction control, and as expected, it was cutting the power like nuts, which is why I got 8.7 seconds on my first run, which, let me tell you, this car will do much better than that. You could literally feel the computer cutting all the power at the very beginning because of the wheel spin it was sensing. So that was definitely a disappointment, but we'll try that run again. This is still, an 8-speed automatic torque converter transmission that does a pretty good job of accelerating the vehicle or moving the vehicle out smartly. There we go, that's better. All right, on that run, I got 0 to 60 in 7.34 seconds, which 7.34 is still not amazing, but remember, this is just a naturally aspirated V6 making 291 horsepower. It's moving around a vehicle that weighs in at around 4,400 pounds. These naturally aspirated V6s are great engines for smoothness, for responsiveness, for just longevity. And this engine is good, but just know that there are much faster options in the segment, namely stuff like the Subaru Ascent with its turbocharged engine and CVT, which isn't the enthusiast choice, is noticeably faster than this car, 0 to 60 wise, but this is still not bad. This car is going to have plenty of power. It's really only when you're probably at elevation or you're towing a heavy load, or you just have like 8 people in the car, that's probably where you're going to notice the vehicle struggles a tad to move the vehicle around, because it is a naturally aspirated engine, which doesn't make as much torque as those turbocharged units. But boy, does this thing sound good when it gets going. And it's just so smooth. Like, Hyundai and Kia have really been doing a great job with their latest crop of powertrains, their engines, and this is about as good as it gets. I mean, this pretty much matches the smoothness of the Toyota Highlander, the Honda Pilot. I just drove the Nissan Pathfinder, which, let me tell you, the new Pathfinder was good, but I would still go for this or the Telluride. These are still more appealing to me. I like the exterior styling more. I like the tech in this vehicle still. I like all the features. I mean, the head-up display, the heated and cooled second row seats, the heated and cooled front seats, the all-digital display in this model here, the quilted leather. I mean, this feels really, really high quality in here. It's very Genesis-like, very Mercedes-like as well. And you also have a plethora of driver assistance tech that works extremely well in this car. You have those blind view cameras, so if I signal left or right, it shows you exactly what's in your blind spot, and it shows you a very clear picture of what's in your blind spot. So that's something that I really appreciate with this car. And just in general, it rides extremely well. The seats are comfortable. You can see out of it so easily, as well. And it's not a sporty vehicle to drive, but you don't really look for a sporty vehicle in this segment. The Mazda CX-9 and the Subaru Ascent feel a little bit sportier than this, but this is more toward the comfort end, which is what I want in a family vehicle, especially when I'm planning to take it on long road trips. That beep you keep hearing is the lane departure alert, because it's sensing that I'm getting too close to the lane. The beep is annoying. I much prefer systems that just kind of buzz the wheel instead of making the stupid beep. This car also will keep you in the lane. It does not have the latest highway driving assist feature that you get in something like the new Genesis GV80. It does keep you in the lane, but it's not quite as advanced as their newest system. So perhaps Hyundai will refresh this in the coming years, because this car is probably going to be due for a refresh in 2023. I wouldn't be surprised if they put the new Tucson front end. It would look actually really good on this car. This car in general still looks great, although I'm still surprised that Hyundai hasn't added some kind of like a black appearance sport package on this car. I think it would look really good if they did. All right, so for my final run, I got 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds, which I'll take that number. That is perfectly acceptable, but just know that there are quicker vehicles in the segment, but that's not why you bought a Palisade or a Telluride. You don't buy these because you want it to go drag racing. It has plenty of power for what it's going to do, although I'm kind of surprised that we still don't have maybe like a hybridized or electrified powertrain in this vehicle just yet. It is still a great car that offers plenty of power, so comfortable, so roomy, so spacious, a lot of great tech. And overall, I'm just really impressed with this package. Even though it's been on sale for nearly 2 years now, I still would highly recommend both this car and its sister vehicle, the Telluride. And choosing between the two is really just going to come down to your specific taste and what you want in terms of design, in terms of everything, because this is still a fantastic vehicle to drive daily and use as your family car. Now, in the 3-row family segment, there are so many choices out there, and I've had the privilege of being able to drive mostly all of them. I mean, remember, since this car has come out, we've driven the new Highlander, we've driven the new Ford Explorer, we've driven the new Subaru Ascent, we've driven the latest Nissan Pathfinder, and of course that new Jeep Grand Cherokee L, which is something that I think was really hotly anticipated. And after driving all those vehicles and spending the last week and a half or so with the new Palisade, I actually ended up taking this vehicle on a long road trip up to Cape Cod, around 500 miles north of where I am. And let me tell you, this car still very much impresses me. It is an incredibly well-rounded family car that's going to do a lot of people in America just everything that you expect your family car to do. And the beauty about the Palisade and the Telluride, it delivers all that at an incredible value with a great warranty impeccable build quality, and all the tech features that one could ever want. In fact, this car still starts at around $32,000 for the base version. This fully loaded Calligraphy has no options to add. It's basically like Honda. You buy the highest trim and it comes standard with everything. Stickers for a grand total of around $49,000 with destination, so just under $50,000. Now keep in mind, other competitors offer more choices. You can get an electrified option in some competitors, you can get a V8 in some competitors, you can get more towing in some competitors, you can get more off-road capability in some competitors. However, they are not quite as well-rounded as this car, and they are going to cost significantly more expensive. For example, the new Jeep Grand Cherokee L can easily touch 70 grand if you guys get the big V8 with everything, which is just insane. Although it does offer plenty of luxury and tech, this car does still represent an incredible value, and it's just so well-rounded. So personally for me, if I was looking for a family vehicle and I don't need the off-road capability, I don't need the towing capability, I don't need the electrified option, I don't need the V8, this is still one of the top picks. Although personally, I would rather go for the Telluride because I like the design, but I do prefer the interior of this car because it offers a little bit more tech features than the Kia for basically the same money. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2021 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.